Well, hi there. I'm Dadman Walking, and welcome to another episode on the Stonevania SMP. You know what time it is? It's Christmas time, and we're going to continue working on the Christmas minigame that we've been making for this Vanians. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it with a quick time lapse. And we're just going to fill this in and flatten out or smooth out, excuse me, the area around it. And I think the build is good. Yeah. All right. So next up is the redstone. Let's go ahead and start with that monstrosity. Let's get the sleigh working and flinging out presents, and then we'll get into the redstone of all the other things. Shouldn't take too much, so let's just hop up here and get to work. Oh, that's not supposed to go there. You and you. Well, it doesn't go there. 2 repeaters, a few redstone dust, hopper, and a dropper. Barrel, barrel. And that should get us to the point where we can launch presents. Let's find out, shall we? Hello? Oh. I'm missing something. I'm missing a lot of things, actually. And we need another repeater, another sticky piston, and slime block, and redstone. Now we should be good. So let's head down here. And if we hit this button, now we should see. Yeah, presents get launched successfully into our shulker mess. Well, that's the first step. Now we gotta go hook up everything else. Okay, couple days and full stream later, and we've got the majority of the redstone done. In fact, we have all of the house redstone done. If we hop into FreeCam, we can even see that we've hooked up this entire central line to the present system so that it fires a new present every single time a present is delivered. And I've also made some custom sounds for when the Vanians play the game. Now, I am no sound expert, and I did my best, but they're well, we'll just listen. I definitely like the doorbell sound because it's one that someone else made. So really like that one. Now, there are two other sounds when the package is rejected and when the package is accepted. When it's rejected, the Vanian will hear or something like that. And when it's accepted, or something like that. I did do a couple variations of all of three of these, but to see them, or rather to hear them, you're going to have to tune into us playing this thing. Anyway, there's one more system we got to work out, and it's probably the most complicated one. So let's hop over to my Redstone world, and let's try to figure it out. Alright, so here we are in the Redstone world, and this is pretty much what we've got. There's a couple of extra lines in the regular one, and the other one, but it's more temporary lines than anything. So the system we've got to work out is how many presents and how to reset the game. It's a little more difficult than originally thought because how many presents the Vanian has to deliver is pretty easy to figure out. We can simply just fire items from one dropper into another dropper, and as those items go into the other dropper, once it's full, that's game. Or once the other dropper is empty, that could also be game. But the trick here is resetting, because remember, we don't want the player's points to drain when the game ends. We definitely want to know when the game ends so we can stop counting the time, but the player should then need to come back, write down their score, and then they should be able to reset the game. I'm kind of thinking something like that. We have the player manually reset the game before they leave. Anyway, I think a good place to start is that dropper to dropper circuit. The how many presents does the Vanian need to deliver circuit? The present delivery circuit, if you will. So I'll try to figure out that thing, and I'll see what I can come up with, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think that's done. As you can see, we've got 9 beds in here. It doesn't matter what item it is, just as long as it's non-stackable. And as the Vanian delivers a present or starts the game, you can see a new one gets launched, and one of those items transfers over to this other dropper. This hopper is locked via this redstone line, which will key off of at some point. That hopper will empty into this dropper once it's unlocked, and this comparator signal will cause this observer clock to shoot the items from this dropper into the hopper, which will feed back into the original dropper. So that is now resettable. Now I think we can take a comparator signal off of this dropper right here and use that to determine when the game has finished. Because if we power this line and this dropper is full, then we shouldn't deliver another present, and we should stop the clock. Okay, I think I've got something working here. So this looks a lot more complicated than it actually is. I know Redstone say it a lot, but basically what's happening here is that this redstone line here is preventing this observer from firing any more presents. So now that all these beds are in this dropper, this can no longer activate. But additionally, it powers this line as well, running into this AND gate, so that the next time that this line fires, we can see we get a redstone output, but only the next time it fires, which means that we can then use that pulse to stop the clock, and the user can then record their time. We're getting somewhere. Bear with me. Okay, I know I keep saying it, but again, a lot less complicated than it looks. So this line right here, this light blue line, simply controls this piston, so that when this gets a pulse, this T flip-flop activates, and then this line becomes active, or sorry, inactive, pulling this piston down, deactivating the timer. Okay, and then when it is active, it would push the piston out, extending that block so that the timer can continue going. Now, that is what this yellow line is here. When the player starts the timer, or starts the game, these observers activate this line, which update this rail, which fires a piston, and I'm just pulling a signal off of that to activate this T flip-flop to tell this piston to extend so that the timer can start. Okay. Just a little bit more. We're almost done. And now it's exploded. There are several new circuits here. Well, sort of new circuits. First of all, we've got the circuit in that locks this hopper so that the present counting system can't drain out of that dropper until we reset the system, which is controlled by this T flip-flop. Additionally, this T flip-flop also controls draining the point system so that this hopper is locked whenever this is active. Now, this orange line here simply pulls a signal off of the game start line to activate that T flip-flop so that the game knows when to lock this hopper. And then finally, it's activated again when the player hits this note block, and that observer line detects that, activating the T flip-flop and flipping the flop and switching the system into the other mode. All that being said, this is now complete. The user can start the game, a present is launched, they go collect it, they bring it back, deliver it, and you can see that the beds move around but don't drain, and they do that a few more times until they've delivered all their presents. Once they've taken their 10th present and delivered it, the system shuts off, no longer allowing items to pass into the barrel and not draining down into the system at all. But when the user or when the player comes back to the control room, they can write down their score in a book and then reset it. And you'll see that the nuggets drain out of here until it's reset, and all of the beds have drained out of this dropper back into the original. So the game has fully reset and is ready for the next person. Now what's left to do is to reverse it, because on the server the sleigh is on the other side of the control room. Grab a schematic and go build it on the server, and to write the rulebook. And then this thing is done. So let's hop back over to the server and get to work. Alright, so because I didn't build this reversed in the first place, and because I didn't get it finished before Floral started working on Santa's bag that goes around the control room, I've got my work cut out for me. Hopefully I don't mess up Floral's bag, but I don't think there's much more to do than to just get to work on getting this in here as best we can. And then testing it to make sure it works. So, I think I'll just get to work. See you in a bit. And there it is. So I had to modify it quite a bit to get it to work, because for the schematic, the present system is actually like over here, and there are a couple of circuits that were backwards and whatnot, and a couple circuits that didn't actually exist either. For instance, come over here. This whole circuit didn't exist, and the whole circuit behind this didn't exist, which is similar to that one. And all this does is it prevents the note block from being tapped, depending on the state of the game. Oh, right. And Show came over to play it and found that it wasn't working properly. So we gotta fix that. But that's gonna wait till another episode because I'm getting really tired of this and I need to put it over into Creative World to figure out what the heck's going on with it. So I think we're going to wrap up the episode here. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you see you in the next one. And until I see you again, have fun. God bless. And remember, I love you. Jesus loves you more. Have a good one. Okay. Let's see if we got. What is. Oh, really?